You're not alone. Not anymore. Do you know what mutants are?
I'm so excited to be talking about New Mutants, and I know you are, finally,
yes,
right?
Yes, we are. we were very excited.
A few days ago, we saw a new trailer for New Mutants, and we all know that there's a special panel coming up at Comic-Con at home this week. Can you tease us a little about what we might be able to see there?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see a kind of a new kind of virtual roundtable with myself and our wonderful cast, and then you're going to see the beginning of the movie, really the opening of the movie, followed by some amazing stuff maybe you haven't seen before yet. Kind of, I think people will be excited to see it. I'm excited to show it to them.
No, I can tell you right now that the fans are going to be thrilled, because there's a lot of fans out there that are really, really excited to see this movie. Now, New Mutants really blends genres like horror and superhero, right? And we've seen this trend emerge a lot in the last few years, like Logan and Joker. What makes blending genres like this a compelling way to tell these kinds of stories?
Well, I mean, it's funny. I was just looking for a way to tell the Demon Bear story, which is sort of a famous story arc in New Mutants. It's like a 3-issue story arc that's very famous. And we responded that it was already sort of a horror story. And once we kind of found a place to locate it and set it, we were sort of able to dramatize it. I didn't think that much about mixing genres. It just sort of happened naturally as we wrote it and as we made it, because of what we brought to it and what the cast brought to it. And, it just kind of became this strange, interesting thing, I think. I think it's not like any other comic book movie. I can say that, I think, definitively.
Totally.
Awesome. Yeah, we're all comic book fans. Like a lot of the fans of the movie, and Chris Claremont wrote some amazing stuff. So, show of hands, everybody, who read the comic before they were in the movie? Okay. And then who read the comic after they heard they got their role?
Oh. Okay. But I think with that horror thing from the comics that Josh was saying, it's kind of impossible to tell the New Mutants stories without the horror. Like, our traumas are so severe and so intense. So, like, it's not like we're trying to push any element. It came totally naturally.
Yeah, that's
especially with the Demon Bear, because it becomes a thriller. The Demon Bear, I think, brings that thriller quality to it, right?
Chris and Bill's run on it really told us what it needed to be. So it's like we just sort of we tried to be vessels to kind of dramatize all that and try to capture some of that darkness and humor and friendship and all that.
And there are several, speaking of horror, there are several like horror movie references that we saw in the trailer. Now, I'm assuming there's some in the film, like when Danny's on the bed and we see the faces pushing through the wall. That's classic Nightmare on Elm Street.
And this movie, I'd say one of the big movies that we really, Nate and I loved a lot for this was, one of them was Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, where it's a bunch of kids stuck in a mental institution and Freddy's there with them. So, I mean, that was like, a way to figure out how to tell this story and contain it.
And you love this genre, so it's really cool to have done this with you, right, Josh? Because you really love this type of genre. Like, it's in your heart. I think you bring to life in a beautiful way.
Well, it was fun. It's just like stuff that's fun that really plays into teen movies that I love from the 80s and the 90s, and Joss Whedon stuff like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which you'll see a little bit of in the movie as well.
Now, Charlie, a couple questions for you. You shot this film in between, I think it was season 1 and season 2 of Stranger Things. Think back.
It was between season 2 and season
3. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some of the similarities between Sam Guthrie and Jonathan Byers?
I mean, I'd like to say that they're kind of both very different characters. I mean, they have this similar sense of responsibility, I guess, in their family life, and kind of a sacrifice of, this is backstory for Sam in our movie, but it's, a similar kind of doing what needs to be done. I mean, Sam, he leaves school to work with his father in the coal mine to bring in money. And, we've seen with Jonathan in Stranger Things where, he worked at a movie theater and he, he has this kind of man of the family concept. So I guess it would start there, but almost kind of end there at the same time. I think Sam is, one, the mutant aspect, but two, just as a person and where he's from is, I'd say very different.
And, Charlie was really playing a character that suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder and panic attacks and things like that, which just make the physicality and just all those things so different from any role he's played before, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And also, you're playing a character whose panic attacks trigger, I think, his mutant genes. Yes. So there's also that side effect.
No, completely. And that was something we really wanted to, that was something that, we really wanted to manifest, like you said, into this power, but also psychologically what that means. And, the physical act of a panic attack comes, from the stress of situations and how to get past that, how to stop that, and how to be like, it's okay to, have these feelings and control them. So it was a real good ground point to kind of, take that kind of superhero-esque thing, but make it kind of, real and personal.
This isn't a hospital, it's a cage.
Blu, speaking of trauma, I remember the Demon Bear saga, okay? Danny goes through some stuff. So, and this is it feels like a little bit of Danny's origin story. Danny Moonstar is not just one of the first few First Nations characters in comics, but she's also one of the most powerful mutants, basically because what she dreams about can become real.
Yep.
What, going into this, what is a dream that you've had that you wish could become reality?
Oh, a dream that I had. I wish
the movie coming out.
I mean, dreams. I mean, what are those? I don't know. $1 billion, $1 trillion for everybody in the world. For peace. I don't know. But that's probably actually changed a lot what I used to want and what I want now after quarantine and everything that's been happening recently in this world. I don't know.
That was a beautiful answer.
It was. Blu, are you ready for the fandom? Like Henry, I hope you clued her in because superhero fandoms and genre fandoms are
the best.
A big deal.
The best fans you have.
I think Josh and I got a little taste of it in Brazil back in the movie was meant to come out the first time, and it was overwhelming and very exciting just to feel the love. It's like, they're screaming your name, but they don't know who you are. They just want to see the character, and it's like, whoa. Yeah.
And it's so interesting
you're embodying something that they believe in deeply,
Yeah, I think I'm excited for it too, for the attention it will hopefully bring to First Nations and Indigenous people. A lot of people don't know there are still reservations, and there are many Native people. This is our land, and I'm excited for fans to learn about a new something new that they don't know about, maybe in a very modern way, because Danny is written really well. Mm-hmm. I think to really embody both the pros and cons of growing up on a reservation, the good and the bad. So I'm excited for that part of, I guess, fans. The rest of it, I don't know.
We do have wonderful fans, though. They've posted so much incredible artwork on Instagram that we always pop back up there. People seem to love these characters so much and these actors and these roles. I'm just excited for everybody to see the performances and get to experience the movie.
Yeah, no, they're absolutely amazing. In fact, Alice, in the comics, Dr. Cecilia Reyes is actually a mutant herself, and she has the ability to project force fields all around her body. Force fields that look a lot like the one that we've seen in a couple of the trailers. So...
makes her the perfect caretaker for these dangerous mutants.
It's a perfect power for you to caretake of, young people.
If I could put my kid in a force field when they were having a temper tantrum, that'd be amazing.
You're grounded.
Grounded.
Or every person in America partying everywhere when there's a pandemic. Stay at home. It's like,
that's so true, Henry.
That's really good.
Yeah, we actually need Dr. Reyes right now.
And she's a doctor.
Yes,
she's a doctor.
and she's a doctor. So everybody stay where you are, stay within the force field, and I will take care of you.
or at least we'll take care of you.
Exactly. Alice, do you feel that your character, and I know there's only so much you can tell us, but in her heart, does she really care about the people that are in this movie? Does she really care about these kids?
Yes, I think so. I mean, like, it was very interesting, and I love the way that Josh and Nate, they brought, you know, this character to this world, because she's the one that is from a different comic. But it was very interesting to not play like in a classic way of like just being, you know, the caretaker and being the annoying one that is taking care of the kids, but trying to understand why does she do it and why does she care and why is she guiding them. So I think that kind of feel I try to bring in a way, because she does have a desire with young kids. So I think it's kind of like that. I do think she cares in her own specific way. You know, she's like a tough
as
woman.
an antagonist and a protagonist, she does care and like is trying to help them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to see that. Like, it was interesting to create and hear a lot what Josh was envisioning, like, for this character, and kind of go through the backstory. And one of the things that Charlie was saying about him creating, you know, his character, it's like, it's so beautiful to see this character coming to life, because I think for mutants, like for X-Men and for X-Men world, and also New Mutants world, especially New Mutants, it's different than some type of genre of the, you know, like of the Marvel world, just because sometimes they're already heroes, and here they're just, you know, young people trying to figure out dealing with it. And I think it brings for the actors and for the journey of the film a different depth in a way, because really as a fan and as an audience, you connect with that journey in a sense, and you try to understand what they're going through. And that's why you root for them even more, because you feel, you know, that compassion. It's more than just action, but it has that kind of, you know.
Has that kind of depth, behind it. And that is all in the writing. Now, Henry, I have to ask you, not just what was it like when you found out you were playing a superhero, but Sunspot, a Brazilian superhero.
Yes.
It was like, I couldn't sleep for so many days. I mean, Josh, 3 months before I even heard about the first audition, and I didn't know why I was meeting Josh, and nobody told me, not even my agents. After the meeting, they just said like, oh, there's this really cool director you should meet, and he has a secret project. And I think we really hit it off from the beginning. And as the year progressed, it took about 10 months to get the role. I realized like, oh, it's a hero, but it's like a Brazilian one, and I'm kind of close to playing it. And I was like, this is insane. It's like,
after the first meeting, in my phone I put him down as Sunspot Zaga, because he was already the carry. I was already like, yep.
oh man,
No Sunspot Zaga in your phone?
Yeah, yours is still Charlie Cannonball.
Yeah.
Oh god, Sunspot Zaga, man. It was so exciting. It's I'm eternally grateful to this man and for casting me twice in roles that I'm very excited and just, you know, as an artist and as a person to play.
All of you are dangerous. That's why you're here.
I have to ask the last few questions. I need to know, think of all of the mutant powers that you have, everybody has in the movie. If you could trade a power with another mutant, which power would you pick and why?
Like in our movie?
Just in New Mutants. You're stuck with just in New Mutants. Sorry.
No.
I really want a dragon, so magic, man.
I was going to say magic just because she can pop in and pop out.
The dragon's a huge selling point.
I like his pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
I know, Rain though, you know. Rain.
Wolf.
Yeah, man, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I can't control mine, so it's not that fun.
And
But
you know,
need
in this one,
practice. That's what I'm teaching you.
Yeah.
control.
Control.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in the comics, eventually Cannonball really gets it together and he's extremely powerful. So in 20 years, when you make the second movie, I'm kidding.
When the first one opens.
No,
Cannonballs, you know.
I'll look more of like a full-fledged man by that point.
And Blue, I'm actually curious. Danny and Rain's characters, obviously, we can tell in the trailer they had a fall for each other. Is it because of the desperate situation they're in, or is there a true connection? Is there something else there?
I definitely think it's a true connection. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can say this. I mean, one of the first things the first person Danny meets is Rain, and I think right away it's like, whoa, it's some real love at first sight kind of energy. But
I
mean, the situation that they go through definitely quickens, I think, their relationship, and being stuck together, obviously, it quickens their relationship. I think maybe it would have taken a while for them to, get brave enough to, go for it. But it definitely.
In this place, you could die.
It's their love that really, I think, it's Rain's love for Danny. I think that really gets Danny through everything she needs to get through. And I think without Rain, I don't think Danny would have been able to truly. And in life, you need other people. So it's really sweet.
Yeah,
you do.
And really, the movie is about friendship. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have to ask this question specifically. Josh and Henry, I gotta ask a Stan question in here.
Sure.
So, we're kind of in the middle of a pandemic, and the Stan kind of starts off with a pandemic.
I just want you to know we did not start the pandemic.
I was gonna say,
I swear it's not.
Is
our
this
fault.
like some apocalypse now? This is like apocalypse now. Like, did you do something you were not supposed to do?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping not. I will say that the pandemic in the book is much more lethal than the pandemic in real life. They couldn't be more on the opposite sides of extremes. But yeah, no, that was great. I directed the first and the last one, and cast Mr. Zaga is Nick Andros, who's a very special character and very different from this one.
Yeah. Now, how does it feel also for you, Henry, playing Nick Andros? Like, pretend Josh isn't listening for a second and tell us what it was like on the set, what it was like doing it.
I mean, this is actually crazy. So Josh actually didn't direct me in The Stand because he only
really.
I directed the first episode and the last episode, and
so
Henry
Henry's
wasn't
not in the first
or the last. I just cast him and put him in it.
It was like, bye.
Like later.
So you cast him, you said, lose weight, and then you left.
I was like, get real skinny.
Oh, so he's the reason why you couldn't eat anything when I met you.
Listen, I'm not David Fincher.
Oh, no.
If I found that he wasn't eating, I would be feeding him.
But Josh was always like, dude, you got to eat something and drink water. He wasn't.
And I was the worst friend because it was the opposite. I was like, change your body. Be like, let nobody recognize you or think you're cannibal, not cannibals or sunspot. Like, just do something different. I was a crazy friend.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really special opportunity to play such a sensitive character in a world of his own. He lives in a hostile hearing world, and being born deaf, he has to navigate the world in a very different way. He's homeless, he's a drifter, and he just relies on kindness. And I think that's very different from Roberto in the New Mutants. I mean, in some ways he has similarities. Like, he was abandoned by everyone and gets to lead his life in his own way, but their upbringing is completely different. And it's, again, a testament to Josh for seeing in me what I couldn't even see, that I could play these like opposites. And yeah, I'm eternally grateful.
So
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So my very last question, everybody can give me a really short answer on this. What is the one thing that you want everybody to take away from New Mutants? And I'll start with Josh.
I mean, I guess I'd say how important friendship is, and that people doing stuff together is better than one person alone.
I was going to say that friendship and union. I think like once you connect as a community, like as a team, as a, you know, it's union is a powerful thing for all civilization.
How
That's
about
what
you,
we need
Henry?
right now.
Yeah.
Badly. That's why.
Badly.
It's like don't measure wounds with people as you go by life. You know, everyone has their baggage, and we just need to come together and become better people. I think the measuring traumas is not a good place to start, and we all have our own. You know.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Charlie?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of going with what Henry was, that, you know, everyone has these, you know, scars, and not to look at people like that. And, you know, to be able to forgive you. I think there's a big thing about forgiving yourself as well.
No.
Mm-hmm.
There's that's a big theme in the movie.
And Blue, you have the last answer.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, about forgiving yourself, that I think you can get through anything, that like, no matter what, everything is going to be okay. I think, no matter whatever you're going through, no matter how hard it is, but you have to face yourself first to do that.
We can get out of this together.